And what's up? What's going on? Welcome to the next episode of Play Fighting. I think we're on episode 17. Say hi to the people.
17. Hi, people.
Episode 17. This is a pretty wild ride, and a whole lot of wild stuff has happened in wrestling today. Good God.
Holy
week.
shit, what a week.
It seems like
Dude.
everybody's having bad luck in wrestling this week. Like, it's not a WWE thing. It's not a...
No.
Even New Japan is having some shenanigans going on. Like, everybody's had a rough week this week in wrestling.
Dude, you know... Yeah, I can't believe it. Like, we recorded last Tuesday. It is now Wednesday the 9th. And in those 8 days, so much shit has just happened. It like, not just good shit either. Some bad shit.
Well,
lots of shit.
Let's start with the thing, okay, because a lot of people have been asking for my take on this one. Let's just go right into MJF. Because that is the biggest story. I think there are other stories almost as big, but MJF, he dropped the F-bomb. He did the MJF bomb.
That was crazy, man. Holy shit. I was expecting a promo. But the "you fucking Mark" line, my God.
I like it.
It's.
I'm gonna say here. I like this.
Yeah.
I hate that everyone's calling it a pipe bomb. That shit is fucking cringe as fuck.
Yeah, go look at our thumbnail for this show.
Oh. No, I mean,
you motherfucker.
Because a lot of people, like, here's my deal, is like when we start calling it the pipe bomb, that kind of, to me, it devalues the promo. Because now it's no longer MJF's big breakout promo. Now it's an homage to something someone else did. And it's like, dude, fuck that. CM Punk had his time, dude. This is not a pipe bomb. This is a "you fucking Mark." Right? This is MJF's moment. We don't need to sit here and tie it to CM Punk just because he's the flavor of the month right now. Like, let's give credit where credit is due. That promo was all MJF.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't even reference the pipe bomb. He didn't even, there was nothing. Nope. He didn't even talk about CM Punk. Why are we calling this a pipe bomb? Because he cursed?
No, I would call it, the only reason I'd call it a pipe bomb because it is a... You know, because Punk always called the microphone the pipe bomb. And that's his weapon. He used that microphone as a weapon against AEW and Tony Khan. That, you know, and I thought this was really cool. Dude, someone was like, well, is it a work? Is it a shoot? What the fuck is it? And someone's like, who cares? Everybody's talking about MJF.
It's a work.
The fact that was on television and the fact it made it to the "you fucking Mark" before the mic cut off, it was a work, absolutely. It was, you know, and that's, I guess, the only comparison you can give to this, comparing it to the Punk promo. It was a promo referencing backstage stuff that's not necessarily on television. And I guess that's the comparison you could make, but I would agree with you. This shouldn't be compared to him because this is MJF's moment. Not shouldn't be referencing Punk. This had nothing to do with Punk. But damn, dude, I think this set him off in the stratosphere.
Hopefully, this is a lot of fun because a lot of people, like, this is a new thing for a lot of the fandom because most people don't remember WCW, okay? Old fuckers like me remember the battles, okay? But for a lot of people, this is new. They're like, wait, hold on. The lines are getting, because for 20 years, the only thing anyone knew of wrestling was WWE. Okay, so the whole work shoot was always, it had no teeth for the past years. Because it never had, there was never any bullets behind those pipe bombs. It was like, well, fuck you, Vince McMahon. What are you going to fucking leave? And what are you going to go to Lucha Underground? You know? Whereas now...
Oh, shit. Just think about TNA, like what TNA was before that. From like, dude, yeah, a lot of WWE guys went there, but good God.
Yeah.
Nobody was watching that.
So nowadays, there's actual bite behind these barbs. You know, like MJF could go to Raw. He could show up tomorrow if there's a miracle or whatever. And a lot of people aren't used to the work shoot. Like they don't know how to process this. My wife is a newer fan, and she's constantly. This is exciting for her because she's never seen the work shoot era. She doesn't remember the Monday Night Wars because she didn't watch wrestling back then. But I'm like, when the line gets blurred, wrestling is at its best when you believe.
Yes.
And like to me, I always describe wrestling as magic. Okay, nobody calls Chris Angel fake. And Chris Angel, like magicians are only interesting if like I know that David Blaine isn't making a fucking Hummer disappear. But if he can make me believe that shit happened, that's why I'm paying $30 to go to his show in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And wrestling, one of the things is, with only one show, with only one game in town, a lot of that magic is lost because there's no consequences. And now the consequences are real, and people are seeing that wrestling can be real, and it's amazing. It's just... It's too much.
But you're absolutely right. That blur of the lines makes things so much better. When even people who are savvy to the business go, something doesn't smell right here. You got something. And that's what I love about this whole promo is it's a work, but the fact that it could be a shoot and everything, all of that just... It makes me really love it again. It makes me wish I was able to pay more attention to, like, I saw the WCW, but I never saw what he did in ECW, but Brian Pillman, that whole thing.
It's so funny because trying to explain this to my wife, I had to tell her the whole legend of Brian Pillman.
Oh my God, that was the best story ever.
I had to tell her the legend of Brian Pillman so that way she could understand the context. And that's what's so awesome about wrestling. Dude, wrestling is one of the only mediums. It's up there, and is there any wonder why a lot of wrestling fans are comic book fans? Because wrestling and comic books are the only mediums of entertainment where canon is that deep. Like, everything is canon, okay? Like, all the shit Spider-Man did in the fucking 30s, like, that shit, it counts, okay? He fought the Green Goblin, okay? And that's the thing about wrestling is, yeah, dude, something that happened in a company that no longer exists, that was performed by a man who died before half of the people watching today ever were even born, has huge implications on what is happening on a fucking weekly television show here 20 years later. That's wrestling.
And I just love what was once old is new again. And I know they're not just perfectly copying the Brian Pillman. It's got the feels of it, though, It's got the feels of that punk era of in, 2012? No. Yeah, 2011. It's got the feel of that punk era. It's got that feel of that, like you said, that realism. And, dude, it's... I hope this is what sets at least MJF into a much more major stratosphere for his career. And I was reading things this week that he was taking up meetings in LA. There's a rumor going around that Warner Media was pissed, and they demanded that MJF get removed from everything. Video intros, merchandise, and if you go on the AEW website, he's gone. His
part of the work,
shop on the AEW shop, gone. You can't buy his merch anymore from AEW. But I'm gonna be honest, while that sounds like, oh shit, maybe Warner's were pissed, I think that is the work too.
That's part of it, dude. If Warner had a problem,
if WWE has never done a point where, USA Network is pissed at us. They don't do that type of shit. Or Fox is pissed at us. They don't do that. But when you go, oh shit, Warner Media is pissed about it, because now you got some of the or what I like to call the E-drones, going, oh see, no, they're gonna get kicked off TBS and TNT. They don't piss off. And it's like, dude, it's the story. But how cool is that?
You know what I find interesting is WCW literally is dead because Time Warner wanted nothing to do with the wrestling business. And now how the Time Warner came crawling back to the industry right? And they've given Tony Khan carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants. He dropped the F-bomb on fucking primetime TV.
I didn't see the TBS version. But when MJF is like, don't count me down, shithead, or whatever he said, that was the countdown to commercial break, I'm willing to bet. I think that countdown happened. 3, 2, 1, you fucking mark! I never saw the TBS stream, so I don't know.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, Time Warner allowed that. Because if Time Warner had a problem, there would be no Dynamite the next week. Like, that's just it. That's an FCC violation. Those are quite expensive. And if Warner Brothers didn't want to pay that fine, or they had a problem with paying that fine, there would be no AEW. Like that, you just get removed.
If Tony Khan hadn't run that by them first, he would have been canceled, like in a snap.
I'm like, dude,
show would have ended. You're done.
Like, people don't realize.
Shit, they might have pulled it midstream. They might have pulled it mid-show, been like, cut the feed.
Yeah, they would.
And by the way,
rerun or something.
Warner Media execs were sitting front row during the promo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Because like people that don't know shit, right? The fucking marks that don't know shit. An FCC violation. Let's step outside of wrestling and just ignore.
Holy shit!
Our make-believe pretend funland where people can just do fucking karate and it doesn't count as fucking felony battery, right? Let's just step away from wrestling and go into the real world. The F-bomb on TV, that's a multi-million-dollar fine. Like, that's an expensive fucking thing to say on TV. Yep. So, for people to sit there and say this is a shoot, I'm like, no, dude. MJF is not that. Like, dude, he may be, people are saying he's pushing the line a little too much. Maybe he's sabotaging his career. But MJF is not that stupid to drop the F-bomb without permission on fucking cable. Like that.
And Tony Khan is not that stupid to send somebody out to the ring that has legitimate gripes with you that are completely unresolved.
Yeah.
And told to go talk about it. If that was a shoot, it would have been cut off 30 seconds in.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, for the most part, it's common knowledge, or at least public knowledge, that MJF got his money.
More than likely, that's what I'm guessing.
Is that the rumor out is that this was all negotiated in January, and they've been planning this story, but they wanted the negotiations to actually end, and MJF got his money. He got paid, from what I'm hearing, is that he's getting paid double what Tony Khan basically doubled his salary, and they're going to renegotiate when the contract is up in 2024. So all of this together just leads me to believe that this is not a shoot. This is a work. It's a damn good work. I'm glad that wrestling is back. Hello?
Yeah.
Did we get okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something. But yeah,
no.
I'm just glad that the magic of wrestling is back. Like, I can believe in it again. Even though I don't believe shit, I believe in it again.
But see, it's just so good. You know, like you said, the realism behind it all. You know, I like the fact that they're talking about contracts, and you know, that's the shit that gets me excited about wrestling. I love learning all the ins and outs of it. So hearing it on television always geeks me out. You know, and yeah, dude, it again, you can't think it's a shoot at this point. Dude, did it start that way? Sure. And I hope that this all got resolved months ago, and what happened in Vegas was part of the work, and they worked every fucking journalist around. Every journalist was like, yo, this is real. There's even journalists going, I've seen the plane ticket. I know it's legitimate. All the journalists were like, listen, could they be working me? Yes. Have they ever done it before? No.
Dude,
not to this man.
This
and I hope they worked every fucking journalist in Vegas that weekend. Dude. I hope that it was planned from the fucking get-go. Yeah, it sucks. Sure, take a little bit of hit PR-wise of planning a meet and greet and having people buy it that had no intention of fulfilling. Sure, that could be a PR hit. But, dude, I'm gonna be honest. I hope that's how it comes out, man. I hope it comes out that whole motherfucking thing was a work from the jump. But also, part of me comes out. Hopefully, it never comes out.
Dude, I'm just saying this.
That we questioned the entire fucking time up until the you fucking Mark thing.
Dude, this angle has to me solidified how not smart most of the wrestling fandom is. Dude, everybody wants to say they're smart fans, and I'm like, and I usually, like, especially when I'm streaming and people talk about wrestling, and I try to keep a lot of my, like, smartened up opinions to myself. Because, like, I want the marks to have fun, right? And, like, when we went to Double or Nothing, and this was my wife's first big-time show, and so she had never seen marks in the wild. She had heard of what a mark is.
Oh,
and I was like, babe, you got to be prepared. The whole trip up there, I was like, the fans are going to be crazy. Like, you're going to see the marks. And now, when we got home, she was like, oh, my God, I know what you mean by the marks. Like, those motherfuckers actually thought this shit was really happening. And I was like, yeah, the marks, they still believe. They still believe. And, a lot of smart fans, they like to be cocky. Like, oh, I'm not a mark. I'm smart enough to the business. But, dude, everybody got exposed with this shit because I said from the start, as soon as MJF was announced that he wasn't no-showing, I was like, dude, this is a work. This is a total fucking work. Before he showed up at Double A, this is a work. Not getting work,
I knew. I was quite sure that he was showing up at Double or Nothing. And you were the one that even told me. Since I was in Vegas already, I didn't hear a damn thing about MJF and the whole meet and greet thing happening. But you know what? We weren't also around all the wrestling fans, so we weren't at the Mandalay Bay hanging out. And we went there for a little bit on Saturday before. But yeah, we weren't hanging out around all the wrestling fans. We saw them, but we never stopped and hung out and talked or anything like that. I knew nothing until you called me that day and told me. Like that Saturday afternoon. That was nuts, and I was like, holy shit. But, and at the time, it's like, and you and I were both like, it's probably a fucking work, because that's the MJF thing to do. But at the same time, we were like, it is shitty that they had no intention of fulfilling a meet and greet that people paid for. Yes, everyone got their money back. No one was scammed. It's just shitty. It's like, I was out, the $70 until you paid me back. Like, that's kind of crummy. Especially if you think about maybe that $70 was the extra 70 somebody had in that weekend, and they chose to spend it on an MJF meet and greet. That kind of sucks, but
yeah. And, I mean,
like I said, PR hit, but if this thing's fucking perfect.
I don't know, dude. I can't be mad at that because everything says card or appearances subject to change. Excuse me. So it's like, yeah, okay, he didn't show up if that was your favorite wrestler. But, like, y'all should have known, y'all are fucking marks. Because y'all should have known something was up. Heels don't do meet and greets.
And he does, but every time he, like, takes a picture, it's like flipping you off. Or he's not smiling, looking like he's bored, looking like he doesn't want to be there. What he should do as a fucking heel.
Shit on him all you want. Shit on Cornette all you want. But he's got a point. He's a heel. Heels don't brush their teeth.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't know, maybe because we worked in the business, but, like, this kind of shit I find exciting, and people are getting mad, and I'm just like, dude, like, maybe because we're unworkable.
I won't say I'm unworkable.
I'm unworkable.
It takes a lot to work.
You're not going to work.
But I wouldn't say I'm unworkable.
Dude, even before I got involved in wrestling, I didn't trust anybody, and I thought everything was dumb as fuck. It's like now that I'm...
that's just how you've been since the last 30 years.
Right? Yeah. Now that I'm trained in an industry of lies, my bullshit radar just doesn't stop going.
Oh, yeah. No, the wrestling business has definitely launched my bullshit radar. But I'm going to tell you something that's not bullshit. Fucking Cody Rhodes tore his goddamn pec.
That's a work.
Yeah, it was all fucking makeup. Yeah, that's all it is.
Cody Rhodes didn't break his titty. What the fuck? Cody Rhodes working the boys with purple areolas.
Oh my god, dude, that sucks, man. Here's the dude. I legitimately thought this dude's about to win Money in the Bank and fucking. Yeah.
No, dude, I think his whole plan from the start was to win the Rumble. So in his
Really?
interview, right, in his interviews, the interview tour that he did when he came back, he said one of the things that really like made him solidify his decision was that he saw, I think it was like What Culture or Parts Unknown, somebody did a YouTube video of like crazy Royal Rumble statistics, and Cody had like one of the longest total cumulative time in the Rumble, like of all of his appearances. He has the record for spending more minutes in that match than anyone else. And he said, yo, it's kind of weird that I have this record in the Royal Rumble that no one is probably ever going to beat, and I don't even work there. I need to fix that. I need to win this thing. And so he said something to that effect, but when he said that, I was like, okay, so Cody saw the same YouTube video I did, and he's going to try to win the Rumble. I think that's the play. I think he's going to try to win.
But yeah, so yeah, he did say he'd like to come back. The Rumble is something special. 3 hours, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds he's been in the Rumble, putting him 8th on the list for longest total time. But yeah, he always said the Rumble is special.
Top 10. Dude, when you think of how many Rumbles Kane was in, and Cody Rhodes, who disappeared for 6 years? Disappeared for 6 years, had more time in the Rumble than Kane, who never left the WWE.
Wow, actually, Kane is barely ahead of him.
Oh, okay, never mind. Cody's still top 10.
No, yeah, 10. Kane is actually number 7.
Wow.
So Kane only has 13 more minutes than Cody, but has 12 more appearances. Cody has 8, Kane has 20.
Every appearance is an Iron Man appearance for Cody, if that's the case.
And Jericho has the longest with 4 hours, 59 minutes, and 33 seconds across 11 appearances.
And he's never won one either.
Nope.
Such bullshit. Jericho and AJ Styles are robbed, man. They need to. Both of those guys need to win.
Honestly, okay, so Jericho never won one. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th have all won Rumbles. 7 was Kane, 8 was Cody, then Cena and Punk. So out of the top 10, 4 never won the Rumble.
Damn. It still boggles my mind that CM Punk hasn't won one. But we are getting off on a tangent. We should talk about Cody Rhodes' purple titty.
Oh, dude, that Hell in a Cell match was nasty. Watching every bump he took, knowing every single time he moved that arm, he was probably in excruciating pain. Dude, I even texted this to you. That was his Tommy Dreamer, thank you, may I have another moment. That was everybody going, okay, we liked Cody, but this is one tough motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
That was his Triple H breaking or tearing his quad moment.
That's it. Yeah.
That was his Triple H moment. Dude, when he took off his jacket, the first thought in my mind was, adrenaline in his soul. Only one titty on Cody Rhodes. Because when he took that shit off, right? Because we had heard the reports, and Corey Graves I think mentioned something at the start of the show. He said Cody Rhodes is confirmed injured. He's gonna fight anyways. And I'm like, all right, man, he's gonna have like a taped up chest or something. That's what I expected. That's what I expected. The DDP, right? The taped up ribs. I was like, okay, cool. He's gonna go Diamond Dallas Page. Maybe that'll be part of his ring gear for a year and a half. He'll have a D'Lo Brown chest protector or some shit, right?
He'll need one now.
When they showed that, I was like, wow. And you watch that. They did what? 3 bumps the whole fucking match. Seth Rollins is a workhorse. Seth Rollins could have bumped his ass off, but that wasn't the story they wanted to tell. There was like 2 bumps. But I'm telling you, every move seems so excruciating.
Yes.
Because you know it was.
Dude, right? Oh, my God. That, to me, solidified Cody as a top-level star for the remainder of his career. That was one of the gutsiest things I'd ever seen done in a wrestling ring. And yes, everyone's crediting Cody. You gotta credit Seth as one of the greatest wrestlers of this or maybe any generation. That is 100% true.
People that don't work don't know how hard it is Cody was fucking up spots because he couldn't work the right side. And Seth Rollins had to work around. But what I'm saying, not that Cody is incapable, but like as skill-wise, but like his body could not.
He physically couldn't. He barely could move his arm. He moved it when he needed to.
And so for Seth Rollins to work around a guy who can't use half of his body and still stay safe and protected. Like, god damn, dude. The strength of Seth Rollins to pull off a lot of those spots knowing Cody couldn't base for himself is so, like, Seth Rollins is a fucking trooper. We can't ignore his contributions to that match.
No. He deserves as much credit for that match as Cody does, in my opinion. Yes, Cody went in there hurt, and everything he did hurt, but Seth had to carry a lot of that burden of what Cody couldn't do and make it look good.
Was the match. That's the match that made me a believer in Seth Rollins. I was always kind of on the fence.
Okay.
Because as far as like work rate in WWE, like to me it's AJ Styles, and like Seth Rollins to me was always kind of like, yeah, he does what AJ Styles does, but not as good. And that match changed my mind to where I was like, you know what, AJ Styles is maybe not as technical, or Seth Rollins isn't as technical as AJ Styles. But, like, the dude is just as much of a workhorse. Like, the fact that Cody Rhodes was able to wrestle that match is a miracle that only Seth Rollins could have provided.
Honestly, I don't know if anybody else on that roster could have carried Cody to that quality. Yeah, AJ probably.
Roman
but I don't know if there's many people.
I think Roman could have carried it. I think
quite possible. Quite possible. I haven't seen him really do that. He might have, and I just haven't seen it. Again, I just started watching WWE back again after Mania, so there was a 2-year period I didn't watch. And, I've seen a lot of Roman, but I don't think I've ever seen him in a match where he's really had to carry his opponent to that in that manner.
That's true. Okay, so AJ, Owens, and Sammy. Those would be my three that could probably
and Seth,
do that.
yeah.
AJ,
but look at all 4 of those dudes that you just mentioned. World-traveled wrestlers. Yeah. Not from the PC.
They actually put in the grind.
Now, they did go to the PC, but they were world-traveled before going to the PC. Well, 3 of them.
Look at all the guys that they've got coming out of the PC, and they're constantly getting hurt, man. Boogs is hurt. Madcap just got hurt. Like, honestly, I think they need to have it. Well, he just came back from an injury, right?
Oh, that's right, but he took that fucking bump from in Saudi, where he took the fucking Alabama Slammer on the front of his face.
Yeah.
On top of his head.
So, like, but I mean, like, a lot of these PC guys, because, you look at what they do in the PC, and you can tell how they're training them by how they perform in NXT. And they are very, very, I don't want to say reckless, but like they do a lot of riskier spots that if you were working every day on the indies, you would not be doing those spots.
To me, they come across more as, and I hate saying this, a choreographed movie fight.
Yeah, but
I get it. You're trying to make these people ready for television, not for wrestling. You're trying to make them ready for television. That's why when you see a lot of these homegrown PC folks come out, sometimes it's very cringy when you watch them wrestle people outside on on indies and such. But it's only for certain ones. Like Ty Conti wasn't as good as she became once she got out. It took getting out of the PC and wrestling the good women she was for her to improve. But you got someone like a Braun Strowman who, while yes, he's PC born and bred, when he got up to main roster, look at all the top guys he faced that he was able to learn from. It's once you're able to wrestle those guys that have different experiences. If PC Wrestler A wrestles PC Wrestler B for the rest of his career, they're going to just have the same fucking matches. You're not going to learn anything. If you went on the indies, you would have no fucking clue what you were doing because you just had PC training. And yes, you got Shawn Michaels and all those people, Robbie Brookside, and all those people down there teaching you shit, but it's not the same. Training is not the same as getting in the ring with those people and actually wrestling matches. Learning about where to be to catch a dive. Learning about where to move yourself. Learning where to put your feet. in a Royal Rumble match when you've got 20 other people in the ring and learning what not to fucking do. Sometimes you could teach that shit in training, but a lot of it comes on the job training of being in those matches. Braun is a better wrestler for having wrestled Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, and all of that. And so Roman's better for wrestling those guys too. That's where he got better. Seth and Dean got better also in WWE wrestling those guys, but they had that exterior knowledge and experience even going into the company.
Well,
so they would succeed anywhere they go. Same with Bryan Danielson.
But it's not so
that's
much
those guys are making the WWE PC guys even better.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is it's not so much the experience in the ring or on the road, but the pacing. Because what I'm seeing from a lot of these PC guys is they don't know how to pace themselves like an indie guy that doesn't have insurance and doesn't have Vince McMahon's checkbook to bail their ass out of a bad fucking moonsault. Okay, that's the shit they don't teach you in the PC. Because you see these guys doing these spots, and it's like, wait a minute, I know WWE's schedule. Are they really fucking? Is that really his signature move, and you're doing that spot every fucking week? Holy shit!
Oh god, those are stupid.
And like,
yeah, when you see some of those, you're like, oh my god, you're not gonna do that once you get to Raw.
And it's like, and you see that, you only see, and that's why you see a lot of these PC guys getting hurt, because they're doing a lot of these spots that it's like, yeah, dude, you are physically capable of doing that once a month, okay? But you're not doing that on the road. You're not doing that at every Raw. That's not going to be your signature move that you signal to the crowd every fucking setup for the finish, right? Like, these guys, they do this really weird NXT style that just, it wouldn't work if you actually had to fucking work as a wrestler on your own.
I can't comment a ton on it. I have seen things that I'm just like, ooh, that's rough. But you're right about the moves. Look at Ricochet. Even before he went to NXT, even though he was using the 630 as his main finish in NXT, he wasn't wrestling as much as he was on the indies. Like, there was matches in PWG, he didn't even do the 630. You know, he would do I think he called it the Benadryller. It was like a reverse suplex that he would sit down with. But then look at him on Raw now, or he's on SmackDown. The 630 doesn't hit all the time. He also has other moves. I think he does the Code Breaker as a finish too. You know, so he's adapting. But he started doing that on the indies again.
But he's not a PC guy.
He was there for like a year or two, but that's it.
But
he did the 630 in NXT. When he won it, he did the 630 almost every match in NXT. But again, you were wrestling what? A couple times a week at most?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he might have wrestled less on TV, but they would do those live show loops.
Because NXT did like fucking 16-hour tapings for like a month, right? They'd just do 2 days.
They would do. It was one day, but it was the show back then. It was only an hour, so they just did a taping every 4 weeks. So each show was 4 hours, and out of a whole show, one guy might wrestle once, maybe twice at most. Yeah. For most of them, I'm sure there's some that wrestled more, but the top guys, you saw them like once. They cut promos and they did something almost every week, but they would only have like a match, or maybe they would do a 6-man and then a singles, you know. But that's it. But then they would do house show loops. They would do takeovers. So, I mean, maybe they're wrestling once or twice a week. Maybe. Yeah, you could get away with that more. Exactly. You can get away with that more. It's still going to catch up with you, but you can get away with it more. But yeah, if you're wrestling too reckless because you're only wrestling once a month or, you know, whatever it is, they're going to go a little too hard and they're going to do stuff that's going to hurt them. But again, they're doing all this stuff in a ring in the PC that is cushioned. Their dive ring is a pillow.
They have a fucking trampoline for that fucking thing too, man.
It's not even a trampoline. It's like a crash pad underneath all the canvas.
No, but they had I saw that they have a ramp, so that way if you can't jump and clear the top rope, they have a ramp for you to fucking try. And I'm like, wow, dude, when they were teaching us that shit, they were like, yeah, just don't hit the ropes when you try to go over. They're like,
pretty much.
If you can't clear the ropes, then you can't do dives. That's how we learn how to do dives.
I mean, shit, you and I were jumping off the top rope the first day at wrestling training because that was the spot we were told to do by the trainer.
Right?
I love Jesse. I'm not questioning what he did because I had to get into that scenario when you've got 2 kids that are brand new and you've got the rest of your class that knows how to do everything. It's like, shit, you can't cater the whole class to the noobs. So you got to kind of bring them in. I know we still did things with everybody, but you still had us doing things that were outside of everybody because it was our first day. And but yeah, dude, I don't know, man. That style, I hope they change it up, and I hope those guys learn, and I hope they learn because they do send people down to NXT like Dolph Ziggler. Apollo Crews went down this week.
Well, I'm just tired of all their call-ups getting hurt constantly, man. AEW gets criticized a lot for some, like, green-ass, unprofessional workers. But, like, dude, some of these guys they're sending up from the PC, like, what's that one dude that broke fucking Madcap's neck and he broke Big E's neck? And I'm like, how is this guy breaking two fucking
Ridge
necks?
Holland.
I'm like, how is
No, he didn't break Madcap's. That was Drew McIntyre that almost broke Madcap's neck.
Well, but he did the spot that fucking fucked up Madcap in Saudi Arabia.
No, he didn't. No, that was Drew McIntyre that gave the move. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yeah, that dude broke Big E's neck.
No, he injured someone else. Oh, you know what?
I
It
don't
was
recall.
before that. He
got
broke
hurt.
fucking Johnny Gargano's neck. Remember that shit?
Dude, he broke his own leg in NXT. I don't remember him almost hurting Johnny Gargano, but I remember him breaking his leg in NXT.
But it's not just him. I see a lot of it from, like, a lot of the PC guys are getting, like, fucked up. Like, when I saw Boog get hurt at WrestleMania, and that was a freak accident. There was no way.
Dude, you couldn't have called that one.
But it's like, damn, when he got hurt, I was like, fuck, Boog is hurt too? Like, and now we're talking about Cody Rhodes, and it's like, dude, people, like, wrestling is cursed right now. That's what I think.
And Punk wins the fucking title and now is out because he's hurt.
Yeah, and
wins the title, wrestles on Dynamite, gets hurt.
I felt bad too because I was like, I'm not a fan of Punk, but I know a lot of people waited almost a decade to see this title run, and for it to get snatched away, I was like, dude, this has got to be the worst luck because as I wasn't hyped for a Punk title run, but like I still wanted to see what he could do, you know, like I'm open-minded. Hey, maybe this could be the dopest title run. I just don't think that there's anything Punk can do with that belt that he didn't do better in Ring of Honor.
Maybe.
That whole summer of Punk, dude, you can't touch that. Like, it sucks that CM Punk peaked with Summer of Punk, okay? It sucks. But if you're going to fucking peak, right, you peak with that. And I just don't think you can ever top that. It's like, God, that was a moment in time, man. That was a moment in time that'll never come back.
No. And what sucks is, I don't know how he heard it, but the way it looks to me, so after that Dynamite, after he won the title at the Kia Forum in LA last week.
Well, I'm hearing it was the way that he fell off the springboard when he did the springboard.
No,
and he
I think he did it. Go back and watch that. Go back and watch his entrance. He takes his belt off and stage dives. But look at his leg. His foot, one of his legs did not clear the barrier. And he came down like ankle right on the top of the guardrail.
And I'd heard that was also where a lot of people think it was him doing the stage dive. You know what? It's such a freak accident because I guess he broke some bones inside the foot. So like that's what I had heard, that there were bones broken inside the foot. That's why he needed surgery so that way they would heal properly. It's like a simple. Like, it's not a bad injury, but it's in a weird place that makes it hard to heal. And it's just like, how do you fucking break the bones inside your foot? Like, you couldn't even plan that. You know? Like, it's just a rando thing.
Cursed, man. Danhausen fucking cursed him.
Right? But here's the deal, okay? Just because CM Punk is hurt, we need to talk about this interim title shit, okay? Because
that's what I was going to bring up next. So, the rumor going around is Punk tried to relinquish the title and Tony had none of it. Now, the interim title stuff is kind of new to wrestling. Kind of. Because they have done it in the past where, you know, Razor and Shawn did the whole Intercontinental. But that was 1994, dude. You know, that was almost 30 years ago.
The thing is, that works. It works when there's contract issues, and it's like, dude, they may not come back. We know Punk is coming back.
They do the same thing in the UFC. When a champion gets hurt and they know they can't, and say they had a title defense coming up and they're not going to make it, they'll do an interim title match. And then once the guy is healed and they've prepped for a fight camp, which I mean, this could all take 9 months to a year or more, they'll do the title versus title and then unify the belts again.
I feel like this.
Like I get the concept,
stuff, it devalues,
but I'm not with it. You know,
it devalues it, man. Like Punk, I was with Wardlow when he did the promo on Dynamite, and he's like, "No, dude, I wasn't in the interim title. Fuck all, because right now the champ is Punk, and until I can beat Punk, I'm not going to consider myself a champion if I win whatever belt." And I'm like, you know what? He totally just shit on the angle, but I agree with him because, like, this is dumb. Like, if Punk is the champion, and dude, if anything, then nobody's beaten Hangman. Like, they should just put the belt back on Hangman. Nobody beat him.
That was my problem with that whole Battle Royal and the title eliminator. Honestly, instead of it being Jon Moxley, it should have been Hangman. That was in that match. Instead of Moxley, Moxley and Kyle won the Battle Royal. So instead of Mox and Kyle last night, it should have been Hangman and whoever won the Battle Royal, in my opinion. Or at least already in the fucking title match at Forbidden Door. Yeah, and then you bring in a mix of AEW and New Japan guys, have them do a fucking shootout, and then they face Hangman for the title, and it could be a New Japan guy because it's Forbidden Door. I honestly don't think that happened because of what Hangman challenged last night, but we'll get to that point.
Well, no, I think the issue is that Tony Khan, like a lot of people, is a CM Punk mark, and he doesn't want to take the belt off of CM Punk. He spent a whole lot of fucking money getting CM Punk on his show to be his champion. He's like, no. You are not taking this from me. You are not.
So here's the cool thing. I don't know how long Punk's out. A few months? I don't know. Here's the thing that's cool. If Punk relinquished the title and came back, should he win it his first match back, or should he have to fight through everybody again? There's a thought. Number two.
That they could do either
here you go. If Punk is out for a few months, now you got a few month title reign by somebody else, and then you can have Punk unify the belts again. But until then, you've got somebody else running with the belt, and being the champion.
They didn't have to do an interim title. Like, it doesn't matter, who ends up fighting Punk at the end. The fact that this is an interim title and it doesn't count is stupid. So, say MJF won it. Does MJF's world title count? No, because it was an interim title.
Yes, they will, but his record will be paired with CM Punk.
Yeah, and that's
not an asterisk. It'll be paired with. It'll say MJF wins title, and in the rank in the history of it, but it'll have a note: interim champion as Punk was hurt, and then when it shows whoever wins that match, and then the next entry will be whether it's MJF or Punk, and it'll say unification match with interim title. I get it.
It's dumb.
I get it.
If I can't explain what is happening in wrestling to an idiot who's never watched wrestling before in 10 seconds, then it's too convoluted and overbooked.
But that's AEW. They do a lot of overbooked and convoluted stuff because they don't cater to the casual fan. They cater to the hardcore.
I disagree with that. I don't feel like AEW has been too convoluted. I feel like they're not as convoluted as WWE.
Did you watch Dynamite last night?
I did.
I felt it was very convoluted.
Yeah, I'm not saying things don't change. I'm just saying that historically AEW has been pretty face value to me.
For the most part, yes.
Anything involving BTE and Sammy's vlog, that shit is where it gets convoluted. And anything involving New Japan, if you don't watch New Japan. But everything else outside of the Forbidden Door and the YouTube shit has been very face value.
Yes.
What you see, like what happened on Dynamite, is what is happening on this Dynamite next week. And I've loved that about AEW and having to explain this interim shit to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling when people who do watch wrestling don't even understand it. Because again, whoever wins this belt, their title reign does not matter. It doesn't count, dude. It's interim.
It does, though.
No, it's not. It's interim. They are not the champ. It's like, who's the champ? Well, Moxley's the interim champ. Okay, the fact that you added that hyphened word before it means you are not the champ. If I have to add shit to it, okay, because the champ is the one, the master, the utmost, the hero, the unbeatable one. Right now, that's Punk. And anything other than that devalues the championship.
I do think that Punk should have relinquished it. I'm fine with the whole way they even did the tournament for the crowning of the interim champ. That's how you should have just crowned the fucking champ.
They shouldn't have done nothing. They should have said Punk is hurt, and then everybody in the locker room should have just said, "Well, we're waiting." If everybody did a Wardlow, I don't think the fans would have got mad. If the whole locker room came out and said, "Okay, Punk is hurt, we're waiting for him because we're AEW and we're competitive and we want to beat the best," and this guy calls himself the best, that's his T-shirt, and he has the belt. No substitutions. I don't want to fight a fake champ. I want to fight the real champ. They could have done.
I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that.
That's why.
But how long is Punk out for? That's what we don't know.
It doesn't matter, dude. They got the TNT.
It does, though. If your title's out for 9 months, you're not going to have your world champion there for 9 months?
Dude, they have like 5 fucking belts. And
now they do.
No belt is supposed to be more significant than any other belt, right? So the TNT title.
I disagree.
Well, that's what AEW markets it as. They say the TNT belt is equal to the AEW belt. That there's no mid-card belt. Yeah, nobody believes that, but I mean...
I think there's a world title, and then I think there's the rest. That's what I do. I think the rest of the belts are equal, but I don't think that they're comparable. The women's title at the AEW Women's World and the Men's World, to me, are the top. Then you've got the rest beneath it as one line.
I put their tag belts up there with the singles belts.
I put the tag belts, yeah, but because that's its own division,
only.
sure.
AEW only. No one else treats their tag belts the way AEW does.
No, yeah, that is right. So yeah, so the men and women singles and the tag, that's up here. TNT, TBS, All Atlantic, Owen Hart, whatever,
Owen Hart,
the Dynamite Dark Champion, whatever.
That was another
the kid being
my wife's like, so wait, there's an Owen Hart belt, and I'm like, well, no, it's the King of the Ring, okay? That's the way I'm looking at Owen Hart's tournament.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
King of the Ring, and it makes sense because Owen Hart, biggest accomplishment, King of the Ring, King of Hearts. I mean, not his biggest, but one of his biggest accomplishments, right?
I would say so.
So, like, I see it as instead of wearing a crown and scepter, they have a pink belt. But like, I feel like
same thing. Remember they had the big trophy there when they crowned them all. They're not going to be carrying that shit around like the Andre the Giant trophy and shit like that, like Madcap did or Baron Corbin did. They're not going to carry that shit around. No, they got the fucking belt. That's what they're going to get. So every winner is going to get etched on the trophy, but every winner is going to get their own belt, which I actually really like. I think it makes it pretty cool.
I think it's cool that there's just a belt that doesn't get defended.
But I hope they don't start wearing it every fucking week. I hope it's gone within the next few.
No, I hope they keep it up. I hope that's just a part of their, like the King crown for King of the Ring, right? Like Xavier Woods, when the next King of the Ring comes in, he's going to stop wearing the crown.
He already stopped wearing it.
Well,
fucking Brock or somebody fucking smashed it and he stopped wearing it, and he's not even King Woods anymore.
But I'm saying, like,
I think Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura had longer King terms than Woods did.
The greatest King,
which sucks.
Booker T. Booker T's the only one to win the King of the
King
Ring.
Booker.
And then win the actual belt. Everybody wins the King of the Ring and then they fucking lose. Well, no, Brock won. Brock is the only one. Oh, Kurt Angle. Damn, dude, I'm fucking up my King of the Ring there. I still think Booker T is the best, and I still think the Owen Hart belt is cool as an undefendable
I think it's cool, but I don't need to see it every week for the remainder of time. In 4 years we're gonna have 4. So okay, I see what you mean.
At the end of
so
the
they're
year,
only gonna wear it till the next Owen.
Yeah, that's
gotcha.
what I'm saying is like, you know, so that way there's a whole year-round story they can tell with it. I think that's what I think they're gonna do with it, and I kind of like that. I don't like that they have a fucking Atlantic belt with a Japanese and a fucking Chinese flag, and is there an Australian flag on that thing?
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like when I saw it, it said All Atlantic, and I was like, Atlantic? You mean like the Mid-Atlantic thing? And I'm like, so why is there all these other nations on there? And I'm just like, oh, they mean Atlantic like the ocean.
Yeah,
oh.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, like I don't have a problem with Japan.
I love the belt. I'm fine that they even added another belt. I don't like the name.
I'm totally.
I think the belt is gorgeous, though.
Well, I think the belt's gonna be their inter-promotional belt. I think that's about. My thought is that someone from New Japan's gonna win it, and that's gonna be their belt defended on New Japan, kind of like how the United States title is defended on AEW. And so I'm kind of cool with that, but I don't like them. They could have called it like well, I guess they don't want to call it intercontinental, but they could have called it international. I mean, it is an dude, dog, man, how are you the fucking Japanese champion of the Atlantic Ocean? It just doesn't fucking make. It's so stupid. China doesn't even have a fucking wrestling promotion. Why the fuck is their flag on there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have a couple of indies. China has a wrestling promotion the way South Africa has a wrestling promotion, okay? There are a couple of...
Yeah, they don't have like a big national one. Like they had the I think it was OWE, the Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, was actually, I want to say Shima was the one who started that one. He left when he left Dragon Gate. I think he went to China and actually started that.
Well, there's what's his name that was in NXT that started the promotion out there that's still going on.
Ho Ho Loon, yeah.
Ho Ho Loon,
he was there for a minute.
He's got that big thing going on, but I'm just like
But they're indies. It's not like they're a nation or countrywide.
They're Pacific. Yeah. That's the problem. They're Pacific countries. That's the This is so Atlantic champion. That's like being the fucking Los Angeles champion of New York. You know, like
it's like calling the Angels the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Right? Like
it's not even in LA County.
You know, the Canadian champion of Dallas, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Well, I mean, WWE had the European champion. I mean, they crowned it in Europe, but that was it.
At least it was the British Bulldog, and at least when people that weren't European won it, they made it like Al Snow and D'Lo had European.
Oh, I'm the champion of Europe.
Yeah, that shit was cool as hell. But like, I don't know. I just think it's stupid. I like the idea of a new title, especially if it's going to be the title that's defended outside of AEW. I think that's going to be real fun.
I mean, you could have had the Eurasian Championship. You could have, you could have mixed Europe and Asia to put them together, and you could have made, I don't fucking know.
They could have just called it the Forbidden Door Champion.
Jesus fucking right,
dude!
Oh my god!
We're crowning a new champion at Forbidden Door. It's gonna be the Forbidden Door champion who fights in it. Like this shit writes itself, Tony Khan. This shit writes itself.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. I don't like the name. I think it's fucking stupid. I love the belt. I want one of those belts. Those things look so nice. And it looks sick. And I'm not even mad that they got another belt. I was like, when they debuted it, I even looked at the wife and I was like, I like this. They've got such a large roster. You can have 3 men's singles belts and be okay.
Yeah. Well,
I think if it's not someone from New Japan, I've already called Miro as the one taking it.
I honestly think they could have another belt. They should have a Dark Elevation belt. I thought that's what this is going to be, but it looks like this is going to be the Forbidden Door belt. And I'm like, why don't they have a TV title like WCW had the TV title on Saturday
That's the
Night
TNT
Live.
titles, though.
Yeah, but the TNT title's not. That's on TNT. Like, they need a YouTube title.
Yeah, they don't even do. Honestly, I'd be cool with that. Do you know what though? I wonder if they ever go to a streaming service, if they're ever going to change, like make the HBO Max champion.
That would be kind of.
And that'll be what's Dark and Dynamite,
Like, I mean, I think it's cool that they're adding another belt, and I think they've got the roster for it.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like. I feel like there were other things they could have done for a belt. I mean, it's a gorgeous belt. I'm with you on that. Yeah. But, like, honestly, if they were going to do another singles title, I get they're trying to expand into Japan, but I would have preferred a Dark title. Like, a lot of people are mad that they didn't do a Trios belt, but I would have preferred a Dark
That's already
title.
happening.
Yeah. Since they're not going to use Ring of Honor as their NXT, it seems like they're just going to have Ring of Honor be its own promotion. Like, they just
That's going to be interesting.
He just wants to have Ring of Honor. And so if they're not going to use Ring of Honor as their undercard belt, I would have hoped that they had one as an undercard belt. But the Atlantic title, I mean, it's cool. As another mid-card belt. I will say that if the rest of the tournament is going to be like that first match we got, then we are in for a fucking party.
Yeah, dude. I fucking loved Pac and Buddy Matthews. Holy shit, dude. Those dudes. I even texted you last night before I watched the match. I was like, I never knew I needed to see this fucking match. And when they announced it yesterday, I was like, oh my god, why haven't I ever thought about this? I don't think they ever crossed paths on 205. Dude. I think Pac was already, in his hiatus when Buddy came in.
Dude, you're sitting here saying you want Miro to take this thing, but honestly, I want Pac.
That would be cool.
I so want Pac to take this fucking belt, especially because Pac is the one, out of everybody AEW has, Pac is the one that does the most international work. Like, he's always somewhere. He's hardly ever in town to do an AEW show. Like, of anybody,
seemed like that for a while.
Yeah, of anybody that would be their interpromotional champion, like Pac, he's in Japan all the time. He's in Europe all the time. Like, that's the guy that if I wanted to be my face for the company outside, he would be the dude.
I want to see him defended in New Japan.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Honestly, the Forbidden Door Championship would have been so much better.
Right? I need to
Hell, they could have just called it the AEW Interpromotional Champion.
I need to make a Forbidden Door title on my WWE 2K game now. In my WWE 2K.
And that belt gets defended across every brand.
Right? That's how I have the 24/7 titles signed up. But like, dude,
see, there's your interpromotional belt. You don't have to create anything and come out with a black fucking strap.
Right? Fucking broken ass game. Dude, I'm at 1 trophy left for the platinum. Ladies and gentlemen, cheer me on. I got 500 lifetime achievement matches ahead of me. Oh, but I can get that platinum. I'm going to tweet out when I get that platinum. I'm going to tweet the fuck out of it. I'm going to be like, platinum, bitches. I didn't stream a single bit of it. But, yeah, man. Dude. It looks like we are just about ready.
I got to ask you one more thing, and we can make this subject really quick.
Let's see what it is.
Will Ospreay.
That was my segue. I was like, we're just about out of time, but I can't not talk about Will Ospreay.
Dude, we're on the same page.
When he came out, and my wife was like, okay, who is this man? And I was like, babe, you don't understand. This is Ryan Stone's literal favorite wrestler in the world. Like,
kind of. He's one of them right now, yeah.
Like,
love this dude.
Between him and Bryan Danielson and CM Punk at any given time.
And Kenny Omega.
And Kenny Omega. And I was trying to explain to her why he's such a big deal. And I was like, babe, he's British Ricochet.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, dude,
go on YouTube, because it's free on YouTube. Go show her Ricochet versus Will Ospreay from the Best of the Super Juniors.
Yep.
Go show her that.
That was the match that broke Vader.
It was the match that broke Vader.
That was the match that broke Vader, dude. That shit was so ridiculous. Vader quit wrestling at that point. I'm done. The wrestling business has passed me by.
Dude, do you want to know something cool about that whole thing? Will Ospreay got to wrestle Vader after that.
Well, yeah, because I heard
they flew him to fucking England to wrestle Will Ospreay based on the trash he talked about that match.
I heard it was a good-ass match, too.
He's taking this to the floor now.
Not if you ask Will Ospreay, if I remember right.
Really?
He wasn't too happy with what Vader was able to do. But again, Vader was older. I mean, come on. It's not Vader of 90s where he's doing moonsaults and shit. I think he even wore a t-shirt to the ring. You know? He got to wrestle Vader. That's pretty dope.
I'd love to see Vader no-selling all those spots. That just, you know what I'm saying? Ospreay doing a fucking corkscrew plancha and Vader just fucking, who's the man?
Oh, dude, I would fucking love that. I would love that. But yeah, dude, I popped my ass off when he came out, because I was like, when they were calling out and they said Will Ospreay's bitches, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. And then they came out or the United Empire shit came over the screen, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be Jeff Cobb and Great O'Connor again. And then Will came out. I lost my mind. I am just imagining all the matches I want to see with Will Ospreay. I want to see Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega so bad.
Dude, I think
so
Will
bad.
Ospreay is that was AEW's showing that this shit is like Forbidden Door is serious. Okay, because Jay White had been doing a bunch of shit. They've been getting a bunch of people from New Japan, but they hadn't gotten like the real killers, right? Tanahashi came out, that was one of them, and they mentioned Okada, and now Will Ospreay. And when Will Ospreay came out, I was like, okay, New Japan is serious. Okay, because there are some names that New Japan keeps to the chest. Okay, Okada, Tanahashi, Ospreay, those are three names that New Japan does not share those three names. And so that's when I knew business was picking up.
Yeah.
But
oh god, I am so geeked. I can't wait to see what when he's back. Yeah, dude, that's so crazy.
I'm high. And even in that same, we kind of touched on it, right? Hangman versus Okada. That's going to happen. Dude, Forbidden Door is too much for me already. This is too much
Oh
wrestling.
my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, as a wrestling fan, I'm like looking at Forbidden Door and I'm looking at Money in the Bank that's not going to have Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. And I'm just like, come on, WWE. Are you trying? I don't want WWE to lose. I want them to tie. I want WCW versus WWF again, okay? I need both promotions kicking ass. But, dog, if Money in the Bank is what you have to answer for Forbidden Door, this is going to be a very, very long Wednesday night war for WWE.
Right? Yeah, dude. Forbidden Door is gonna fucking rule. I can't wait to watch it. Hangman and Okada. I'm hoping it's gonna be Mox and fucking Tanahashi. I mean, Tanahashi's got to beat Goto. I don't think they're gonna do the bait and switch and give us Goto and Mox. I think we're finally going to get Tana and Moxley. Oh, dude.
I mean, that's the match people have been begging for, and if you're not going to give people the match that you originally advertised, right? CM Punk versus anybody. That's the match everybody wanted, and we're not getting that. But as a consolation prize, literally the match people have been begging for like 4 years to get. Yeah, I feel like that's an okay consolation prize.
When Mox won the U.S. title, that's who he's been calling out for like 3 years. I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking wait. Dude, that show's going to be awesome. The next couple of weeks on AEW is going to be very interesting. I think we're going to start. I think Okada's going to make a Dynamite appearance. I think the go-home show between Dynamite and Forbidden Door, Okada will be there at least then, maybe more. We might get an Okada match before then. I don't know. But, dude, we're going to see so much crossover in the next 3 weeks. It's going to be a great time.
I mean, this is not half-assed, right? A lot of people, when they said Forbidden Door, and it was like, okay, are we going to get actual dream matches, or is it going to be like, the Blackpool Combat Club teaming up with Chaos to take on some, Bullet Club heels, right? But when they came out and they're like, nah, dude, Will Ospreay's here, and we're giving you Okada versus Hangman, and it's like, okay, this is not a throwaway pay-per-view.
No.
This is a goddamn Dream Match Central.
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped. It's going to be a good time. But getting back to last night's Dynamite, one last thing I'm going to mention. Man, it felt clunky. Something about the show. The matches were great, but there was something about that show. It just didn't flow. Something was up.
Well, it's
I don't know, man.
They threw it together last minute. You can tell.
That's what it feels like.
You can tell that they didn't want to do all that shit. They wanted to have Punk out there as their champion doing Punk things.
Oh, fuck. They're probably rewriting so much now.
Yeah, and so... my only complaint, I felt like it was a little bit overbooked, and I didn't care for the women's match. The women's match was probably the low point. Thunder Rosa's match, It
sounds like when they got to timing everything down, they realized, oh shit, we got like 12 minutes light. We got to throw something in here. And hey, might as well throw the women's champ. I get it. She hasn't been featured a whole ton. And there was rumors of her being upset about that lack of being featured in wrestling matches. She was doing promos and shit, but she wasn't doing matches. So I was intrigued, and that match was okay.
That match was awful.
It was.
It wasn't ready for that spot that they had it right before the main event. I mean, if you're gonna have a fucking beer break match, then fine. But like to sit there and put Thunder Rosa in there against Marina Shafir, who's like pretty green, right before the main event, like that was a bad spot for that match, and the match went longer than it should have.
I agree. You know what? Thinking back on it, it wasn't very good because I'm starting to remember things like it almost felt like Thunder Rosa wasn't cooperating with Marina, and there were moments of like it almost felt like Marina was chucking her around because she can, and I'm like, man, something just feels off about the match. Again, it was just a clunky show. The match-wise, for the most part, it was good. The Battle Royal was fun. It was a Battle Royal. Nothing to write home about. Dude, Mox and Kyle fucking tore it down like expected.
Can we finally give respect to Kyle O'Reilly? I've been saying this forever. I'm like, dude, Kyle O'Reilly's fucking dope. But it feels like the community, the greater wrestling scene, has like not given him his due. You know, and I'm like, finally people are like, wow, he had a banger with Jungle Boy. Wow, he had a banger with Darby. Wow, he's having a banger with Mox. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's Kyle O'Reilly. He has bangers.
My name is Kyle O'Reilly, and I have bangers.
Like, why is this a surprise? Kyle O'Reilly's dope.
Oh, no, it's no surprise. He's a fucking awesome wrestler. I think, I saw a tweet today, and it was, Kyle O'Reilly leaves NXT and says, fuck it, I'm going to be the best wrestler in the world.
Basically.
And again, I told you this last week when you thought you tried to catch me when I said Kyle is a great wrestler. You're like, I'm like, but I still would rather see Red Dragon. Hey, he could change my mind. He's having fucking phenomenal singles matches. I miss Red Dragon. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, but I don't think Bobby Fish has it in him anymore, man. He's pretty banged up, and like I'm noticing that they're using him a lot less. They're kind of putting a little bit. I think Bobby Fish is probably pretty beat up. I know he is. From what I read, he's on a shorter deal than Kyle O'Reilly.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They're putting some investment in Kyle O'Reilly because they're smart, and Kyle O'Reilly's dope. I think I need to give him a belt on 2K. Every time we have these, I think of shit I need to do in my universe. I'm like, fuck, dude, Kyle O'Reilly's not feuding with anybody, is he? I got to fix that.
Yeah, I think Kyle's a great wrestler. I just would like to see more Red Dragon. But I'll say this. If Bobby's done and we can't get any more Red Dragon, I'm all for a Kyle run.
Right.
I'll say that. But I just want Red Dragon more.
I can respect that. I love Red Dragon as well.
Red Dragon.
With that, though, it looks like we are now out of time. We always seem to run out of time, man. But that's just the fun here at Play Fighting.
I was surprised we covered as many topics as we did in, hour and 10 minutes-ish? I'm not watching the time, but I think we're about there. I think we covered quite a bit for an hour. I'm impressed.
Right. We'll bang them out, and we'll get the next episode out to you guys as soon as possible. But I want to thank you all for joining us out here today. And if you're listening, make sure you hit the YouTube follow and subscribe buttons, and then leave a comment telling us about our hot takes and how you hate Kyle O'Reilly and you think that Cody Rhodes does in fact have 2 titties and that we're filling our internet with lies here.
Yeah, you're the fucking Alex Jones of professional wrestling.
Right. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and we will see y'all later.
See ya, everybody.